Once upon a time in the vibrant jungle of Knoll, there lived a kind and gentle elephant named Horton. Horton was known for his big ears and even bigger heart. One sunny day, while he was splashing around in the cool river, he heard a tiny voice calling out, "Help! Help!" Curious and concerned, Horton perked up his ears and listened closely. To his amazement, he realized the voice was coming from a speck of dust floating by.
"Who's there?"
he called out.
"I can hear you."
To his astonishment, the speck revealed itself to be a whole tiny town called Whoville, inhabited by the Whos, tiny creatures that lived on that speck. The mayor of Whoville, a little man named Ned, explained,
"We're in great danger. If someone doesn't help us, we could be blown away."
Horton knew he had to help.
"Don't worry. I'll protect you,"
he declared. He carefully picked up the speck and held it securely in his trunk. But soon, the other animals in the jungle mocked him.
"Why are you wasting your time with something so small?"
They laughed.
"You're an elephant. You need to be strong."
But Horton replied,
"A person's a person, no matter how small."
He believed that even the tiniest Whos deserved to be heard and helped. Determined, Horton took the speck to a safe place, a big rock where he could shield it from the wind. He encouraged the Whos to shout as loudly as they could to make themselves heard.
"We need everyone to know you're here,"
he trumpeted. As the Whos shouted together, their tiny voices grew louder. But still, the other animals just laughed, insisting there was no one there. Horton felt discouraged, but he remembered the importance of standing up for those who couldn't be heard. In a moment of inspiration, Horton decided to climb to the top of a mountain and shout for the entire jungle to hear.
"I have a very small town on this speck, and they need your help. We must believe in them."
At first, the animals continued to scoff, but then something amazing happened. One by one, they began to listen. As the Whos shouted with all their might, even the smallest voice echoed through the jungle. Finally, the message reached the ears of the other animals, and they began to understand. The entire jungle joined in, shouting together for the Whos.
"We believe you. We hear you."
And with that united chorus, the Whos' voices became powerful enough to make a difference. The townsfolk of Whoville were saved. As Horton brought the speck back down to safety, he smiled with pride. The other animals, realizing the strength of the Whos' voices, learned a valuable lesson that day. They understood that even the smallest among them had something important to say and deserved to be listened to. And from that day on, whenever someone spoke up, they all remembered Horton's wise words, "A person's a person, no matter how small." The moral of the story: every voice matters, no matter how small. We should always take the time to listen to one another, for sometimes the quietest voices hold the greatest truths. And so, in the jungle of Knoll, the animals learned to appreciate the value of each and every creature, celebrating their uniqueness and their right to be heard.